I was trying to come up with like better intros earlier, and I had my coffee, and I was like, I literally was just standing there like, I literally looked like Lumbergh from, or Lumbergh, whatever his name was, from Office Space. Everybody in college said I was like him. I don't know how to feel about that because, I don't know, because I always had coffee or something and I was really good at impersonating him. Whatever. Also, side note, I apologize if you hear noise and buzzing and banging outside. My neighbors have had work done on their roof and that's driving everybody crazy, so just bear with me. I apologize. For those of you who don't really know what I do, I am a videographer, musician, performer, aspiring YouTube guy, but recently the biggest thing that I've been doing in the last several years has been kind of pursuing a writing career. Most of the things that I've written have been short stories. I do have 2 different novels that I'm working on at the moment. One is in the second draft, the other one is, I guess, halfway through the first draft. Something like that. Yeah, we'll go with that. This past year, I was reached out to by a local filmmaker, and he was like, hey, I'm looking for a guy to write a screenplay. Would you be interested in doing this? I didn't have a whole lot going on at the time, so I was like, heck yeah, why not? Screenplay. As soon as I accepted the job, I was like, wait a minute. I have not written a screenplay since my college days. Oh crap. I've done a little bit of screenwriting here and there. I've done short films. Currently working on one thing I'm working on is a TV pilot. Hopefully that I'll, God willing, one day be able to pitch a feature-length screenplay. That's kind of a big, that's a little more involved. That 90 to 120 pages, it was a little daunting. I did the job, and it was maybe 6 to 8 weeks of work, I'd say. And that was with me busting my brain in trying to get it done. And I'm actually pretty proud of how it came out. In that process, I learned quite a few things about myself and how I work. So here, what I wanted to do is map out some of the things that I learned, hopefully encourage other writers out there. If you're a writer, hopefully you found this, maybe it'll help you. So here are 4 things that yours truly has learned in writing a feature-length screenplay. Here we go. Number 1. Pace yourself. I cannot stress that enough. Pace thyself. Writing, when it is good, it's an addiction. When you're in that zone, ideas are flowing, you're seeing things, you know where you want to take something, it's kind of hard to stop. You can see the finish line, you want to reach the finish line, you're like, I can do it, it's no problem, and then you hit a wall and you burn yourself out. That's what I did. I was doing maybe 10 to 15 pages per day, maybe 7 to 10 pages per day. It was a lot. I got a lot done. And then the next day after that, could not even write a word. I would stare at the screen and my brain was just gush, just sand. It was nothing. It was terrible. What I learned from that is how important it is to pace yourself, specifically to set a limit. Set a limit for how much you're going to do every day. Even if you feel like you can keep going, don't. Now your limit might look different based on who you are, but for me, my personal limit was 5 pages per day. Now that might not seem like a lot, but what you have to remember with screenwriting, you're using all the different parts of your brain, right? You got your visual mind, you got your emotional mind, your verbal mind, your rhythmic mind. If you don't write it, they don't see it. One of the ways that helped me do that was to sort of write as if I were watching the movie with the sound off. If this movie didn't have sound, how could I show people what's going on? In screenwriting, what they'll always tell you is that less is more. Well, less is more is a lot harder than it sounds. That means you have to say in maybe 1 or 2 sentences what a novel might say in 1 or 2 paragraphs, or maybe a few pages. So you have to take all the things and the information you want to say and distill that into a few sentences. So that takes a lot out of you, and you're doing that for 5 to 7 pages. It's going to burn you out pretty quick. So pace thyself. Once I hit 5 pages, even if I had more I wanted to say, I would stop. I would be in the middle of a page, middle of a scene, whatever. 5 pages, done. If I still had more that I wanted to say after that, to me that was a good day, because I come back the next day and I know exactly what I would want to say, what exactly I want to get done. It was sort of like leaving the light on, so when I come back the next day, I know where I am. Pace yourself by setting a limit. That's number 1. Number 2, and this one's probably going to be a bit controversial, but this is how I work. I'm a character-driven person, Some of the best advice I ever got was that it's not really about the story, it's about who the story is happening to and why that's important, why you're connecting with them. That really helped me. Obviously, if you've done screenwriting, you know about the 3-act structure and, all the different emotional beats you want to hit. Instead of applying that to plot, I had to apply that to my characters. So how are my characters having their fun and games moment? How are they at their midpoint? What's their dark the dark place that they're in. I based it more or less on the relationships and how a character was acting different in this scene versus the last scene. How they change? What are they, what's going wrong for them and what are they feeling? Really focusing on what they were feeling at the time. Some of the most impactful stories that I've ever either read or watched, the characters, I felt something for. I connected to them. You can have the most overused, most overdone plot, but if you connect to the characters and they're good characters, you're still going to feel like you're invested in it. You're invested in what these characters are going through. So I would encourage you really, really try to focus on characters. Point number 3, adapt. Obviously, for any screenwriter, anybody's going to tell you that what you write on the page and what you see on the screen usually going to be different. If you don't know that by now, you're going to have to accept that pretty soon. Like, that's filmmaking 101, that's screenwriting 101. Things are going to change. What I don't see a lot of writers talking about is the changes that take place between the planning and the actual writing. When I started, I had all my characters fleshed out, what their archetypes were, what their relationships were, where I wanted to go, where I wanted to take them, how they were going to change and evolve and all the different things. And then I would actually start writing it, and I'd get to a point where everything matched up for a good long while until I got to one character. And the thing that I had planned for this character originally was not working for the story in the moment. So instead of going back and reshaping the story to fit this character, I had to go back and reshape the character. Once I did that, the story picked up again. It's important to plan out your characters. It's important to plan out your story, but don't get married to it. If it doesn't line up exactly with what you initially planned, go with it. Don't try to force it to be what you initially planned. Try to tailor it to where you're going in the moment. And that's a big thing about writing, is that it's very much a virtual reality daydreaming experience. And sometimes in the moment, a character might say a different thing to you, or might want you to do a different thing, or the story might be guiding you in a different way. And it's really important to feel that and to go with that. And sometimes you have to repeat and redo a couple of things, but don't be afraid to adapt. Don't be afraid to adapt. Don't get married to your plan. Plans change. That's life. Writing is no different. And finally, number 4, everything has been done before. Everything has been done before. Literally everything. Everything is copied from somewhere. If you think you have something that's completely original, it's copied from somewhere. If you think you have something that's cliche, it's copied from somewhere. Even the most groundbreaking thing has been inspired by something else, right? Star Wars, it's a great example. I mean, Star Wars really changed how we view modern storytelling and how we view films and action and romance and, political agendas and all different things. But even that was inspired by things. Even that was inspired by something else. Star Wars was literally inspired by Flash Gordon. It was also inspired by real world events. It was inspired by world history and religions and, all kinds of different things. Lucas just soaked everything he could into his mind and then, wrote it out and got people to help him. And it was an ongoing process. But my point is, it's not the most original thing in the world, right? Nothing is the most original thing in the world. So just know that going in. It's all been done before, but not by you. And if there's nothing else you take away from this video, take that away. It has all been done before, but not by you. There's something inside you. If you're here and you're writing, you want to write, you have a story that speaks to you, that inspires you, then it's your unique vision, your way of seeing the world, your experiences, your emotions, your nuance, your uniqueness. That's the thing that story needs. Whatever story that you're drawn to, whatever story you want to write, it's you, specifically, that is the thing that story needs to come to life. What's your version of that story? You want to write a zombie movie? What's your zombie movie? You want to write a romance story? What is your romance story? A lot of times being very observant of the world, and not just films, but like books and movies and music and poems and jokes and streetlights and billboards and posters, conversations you hear in a coffee house. I mean, anything you can think of, just soak it all in. And in some way, it's going to come bubbling out of you in a weird mesh of hopefully inspiration, and hopefully it'll be good. My point is, don't obsess over making something original. The only way to make it original is to accept the fact that you are original. You are the thing that makes it original. Because it's something I need to hear too. I still obsess over that too. I still obsess over, oh, this has been done before, and oh, this is a thing I saw on Netflix a while back, or oh, they're gonna know what this is ripped off from. Forget all that. Put that out of your head, okay? Recognize that if you're passionate about something and you put your heart and soul into it, that's what matters. Whether it gets accepted or not, the fact is you gave it your all. And that's how I felt about this screenplay. I gave it everything I got. It might not be the most original screenplay in the world, but I was pretty proud of it. So that's all I can say about that. So those are my main 4 points. Now, the last thing I want to say to all of you young writers, and really more to myself, is that whatever you're writing, a book, an essay, a screenplay, a poem, there is no right or wrong way to do it. Yeah, you can learn the tools and learn all the different structures and the grammar and the, and you need to learn all that, mind you. But when it comes to actually creating something, nobody can really tell you how to do it. You have to figure out what works for you, not just how to do it, but how you do it. And unfortunately, that can't be taught. That's something that only you can figure that out. Something only I can figure out. That's something anybody who's writing can figure out for themselves, but you have to figure it out by just practice, Do it over and over again until you figure out how you can have fun doing it. I once heard somebody say that if it seems boring to you, your reader's asleep. So if you're having fun, your reader's gonna have fun. So always strive to have fun. Yeah. Hopefully that is helpful. It was helpful to me. Hopefully that'll be helpful to you. If you have anything else you want to add, please comment. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Please give me a little one of these, a little parts of the button that does this thing. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing day. Happy writing, good luck, God bless, rock on. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. And see you in the next video. Take it easy. All right.